Hey guys, Danny Hicks, RVA Home Team, coming to you with what will be now my monthly market update. We are currently sitting at 2,537 houses on market active, with 1,700 houses being sold last month. That is about a month and a half supply, still, about a month and a half away from a normal market. So a normal market is 90 days supply. We're still seeing really, really quick, days on market. So while they're starting to climb a little bit, we're looking at 14 days on market as opposed to the 2 or 3 we saw in the last year or so. And so what is that doing to the prices? You're definitely starting to see, price decreases. But if you're looking at it statistically, and I'm only looking at the city of Richmond currently, just for this example, you would look at anything we would consider the luxury market above 500,000. So we are seeing a decrease there, right? It was $304.62 per foot last quarter, and this quarter it is $196.31 a foot. And that doesn't include homes that are, kind of sitting on the market and not moving. It's just what is sold. You're also looking, if you drop down price points from the $300 to $500,000 mark, you are looking at an actual increase in price. So $228 a foot. It raised to $234.61 a foot. The same is true on the under $300,000 market, and really that market hasn't slowed down that much. Anything livable, inhabitable and halfway decent under 300,000 is still going to get multiple offers. So you're looking at, it was $181.30 a foot, and now it is $187 a foot. So that one kind of went up. And the big topic in the media right now is going to have everything to do with the interest rate and frankly inflation, which is causing the interest rate. So inflation is right around 10%. I know that they say the number officially is a little lower, but they just changed the way they recorded that. I still think it's 10%. Anybody who's been to the grocery store or filled their gas tank, I think, would agree with me. So the interest rate, what has it done? It's gone from 3% to 7%. So 3% in January, it's closer to 7% now. And what we're seeing on that is not only that the interest rate's gone up, meaning that your payment's going to be higher for the amount of money you're borrowing, but also the closing costs have gone up. So in order to get that rate, for example, if you have a credit score under 700, you are going to need 2 points. So what I would say is, on average, closing costs went from 3% to 4%. And that's going to, kind of vary depending on your price point. The higher the price point, the lower the percentage, closing costs, and vice versa. So that's definitely kind of slowed the market. So we're not getting the multiple offers on every single deal. So how is that affecting buyers? It means that you get to do a home inspection, you get to have an appraisal, you get to take a little bit more time with your decisions. That's a plus. So we went from one obstacle in that, you need all sorts of cash and guarantees and to be able to compete. And now our obstacle is more about, closing costs. But just like when the interest rate was in the 2s, that was artificial. We called that quantitative easing to maintain the economy during, the COVID crisis. Now we're kind of doing it the other way. So the main tool that they use to battle inflation is raising the interest rate. And that's what he's doing. He's going to do that until he has tackled the inflation rate, and then he's going to adjust it back downward. So what does that mean? It means you kind of, if you can swallow the payment for now, we anticipate that in the next year or two, you'll be able to refinance and kind of lower that rate. With that said, you shouldn't buy a home you can't afford. And who should be buying a house right now are people that are paying rent. Because, yeah, 7% sucks, but what sucks even more is, paying 100% to your landlord, because you're not getting any of that money back. So with that said, there are some other marketing, like other loan options that we haven't had to consider previously. The adjustable rate mortgage or the ARM loan, that might be an option now. A seller buy down is another one. As these sellers are kind of sitting on market a little bit more, they're getting a little bit more creative, and maybe they buy your interest rate down, as a tool. And that's one that I would possibly recommend to a seller that is kind of, I don't want to say underwater, because it would be really hard to be underwater unless you bought your house in the last 3 years. We've had 15% appreciation in the last 3 years, like each year. So most people are not underwater. It's just a matter of they're not making as much as they thought they might. And frankly, houses priced right in the right condition are still getting the top dollar because people just don't want to do the work and don't want to deal with it, and they're worried about the cost, which is also inflated, of doing the work. What else did I want to talk about here? I guess the other thing is, with this inflation going on, or hyperinflation possibly heading into that, the economy's in a recession. We've had 2 quarters of retracted growth, which is the definition of a recession. With that said, houses don't necessarily go down in value during a recession. They did in 2007, that's the one we all remember, but we had massive mortgage fraud. That's really what caused that. People were buying the homes that really couldn't afford them and putting very little down to do so. We don't have that. We have a bunch of people with really low interest rates that are, have a ton of equity in their home because we've never had higher down payments. And so they don't have to sell. And that's part of why the inventory is going to stay low. If I've got a 3% interest rate and I'm comfortable and the prices are still high to buy, why am I going to move? I'm not going to. Also, rents are really high. So selling my house and going to rent wouldn't do me any good because, frankly, rents are still high. So with that said, and all this inflation, what is the greatest hedge against inflation? It's a fixed asset, especially one kind of like a house. As the money is worth less, the price of the home raises. Whereas literally, if you had $100,000 sitting in your bank account, it would be worth about $90,000 by the end of the year, considering a 10% inflation rate. Whereas the house would maintain its value, or if not, kind of go up in value, depending on what area and condition and so forth. So what I would say there is, if you've got steady cash flow and a steady job, an investment property might not be a bad idea. And you may put a little bit more down than the bare minimum to make it cash flow, but the high rents are something you can take advantage of. And frankly, with the tenant, as long as you're cash flowing every month, meaning you're making $300 to $500 a month, you can put that money aside and use that for the repairs when they come, not if they come, because they will. And you can also enjoy the appreciation over time, as well as kind of your tenant paying down your mortgage for you. Not a horrible idea. The other thing that I would really think about moving forward is kind of making sure that we are working with a professional agent out there. Right now, kind of pricing it high. In the last couple of years, anyone could sell a home. You put a sign in the yard and 13 people came beat down your door. And agents would brag about it on Facebook, how they got their client all these offers, and really, honestly, the interest rate in the market got them all those offers. The market's always true. Sellers and realtors don't set the price. The market does, right? So making sure that we are looking at the comps and pricing it effectively, and also getting it into the correct condition, is an excellent idea, to make sure that you're getting top dollar. And that is my market report. Let me know if you have any other questions, or if there's anything I can do for you. Talk to you soon.